What is the Great Reset? You might have heard this term floating around the internet here and there, or you might already know about it, but I want to tell you what the Great Reset is because I believe this is extremely important. Number one, because this is biblical. This is biblical eschatology being played out. End times prophecies being fulfilled right before our eyes. The agenda of the Great Reset, the New World Order, the one world government, the system that they're trying to create, which they're now publicizing literally, is important. And number two, this directly affects you and I. This directly affects our lives. This directly affects our future, our country, our families, you name it. Everything is at threat, is at stake with the Great Reset plan being implemented. The Great Reset is first coined mainly by the World Economic Forum, but by Klaus Schwab specifically, who's the leader of the World Economic Forum. He has a book called COVID-19, The Great Reset. And in this book, he makes it sound oh so incredible how creating a one world government, destroying the nation state, seeing America be dissolved, individual liberties be destroyed for the technocratic elite to govern mankind in a more efficient manner. And he calls for this in many different ways, but it all aligns with the agenda that they've been trying to play out for many years. But this is where they're actually trying to market it. They're actually trying to bring this to the public in a marketed PR sense. It used to just be, things that they would say, books that they would write, internal documents, white papers that they would have between each other, different think tanks, Trilateral Commission, Council on Foreign Relations, etc. But now it's literally public. Now they're publishing books on this. Now, Noah Yuval Harari, is a very important figure in this as well. He has a book called Homo Deus, which literally means the God man. And he believes that we are evolving into a God man and that Homo sapiens, which we are now, will be, a distant ancestor like the Homo erectus and the apes that we came from through evolution. And that literally a segment of the population of humanity will evolve into this Homo Deus, this supreme human deity being. And that the rest will still be Homo sapiens, which you can treat like cattle because they're mere monkeys and they're mere animals. They lose all your rights, which he doesn't even necessarily believe in either. And I actually want to read you a quote from his book. This book is called Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind by Noah Yuval Harari. And this is what he writes. According to the science of biology, people were not created. They have evolved. And they certainly did not evolve to be equal. The idea of equality is inextricably intertwined with the idea of creation. The Americans got the idea of equality from Christianity, which argues that every person has a divinely created soul and that all souls are equal before God. However, if we do not believe in the Christian myths about God, creation, and souls, what does it mean that all souls are, quote, equal? Evolution is based on difference, not on equality. Just another Darwinist, social Darwinist, the same mode of thinking that led to the Holocaust, minus the extreme anti-Semitism, but the social Darwinism of trying to advance the human race through genetics, eugenics, the weak and infirmed, kill them off to improve the gene pool of humanity, to advance the race is godless. It's godless. It has no concern for the other human being, for the soul, for the divine nature of us and that equality. And there you go. Noah Yuval Harari, you look at his videos on YouTube, just go search. Go search his quotes on this stuff. Extremely godless, yet one of the top counsels to Klaus Schwab, speaker, leader of the transhumanism movement, the main spokesperson for it, speaks at the World Economic Forum. I urge you, go watch his speech at the World Economic Forum. These are the people who are coming up with this idea, and they market it in this fluffy way. But the thing is, this is not new. The Bible has told us this. The Bible has told us this time and time again. Jesus spoke about the end times. The book of Revelation clearly talks about a one-world governing system, a one-world financial system. It implies of a cashless society, which you look at digital currencies, cryptocurrencies. You think Bitcoin's going to liberate mankind? No. They're going to use that same DLT, distributed ledger technology, blockchain technology, and they're going to implement their fiat currency. It's going to be attached to what they're talking about, the digital IDs and the vaccine passports connected to the digital IDs and the social credit score attached to your digital ID. So if you speak out or you have hate speech for preaching biblical truth and biblical verses, you're speaking online, that's hate speech. and your social credit score will go down. And this is already happening in China. They literally have all of this infrastructure already set in place. You can't rent a house, rent a car when your social credit score is too low. They have a whole algorithm system to determine that for the benefit of the society, of the greater community. That's what it's all about. That's the Confucius doctrine. It's all about, the community, not about the individual. And that's starting to play out as we see socialism, communism literally becoming popular amongst millennials, Gen Z, them wanting this. And it aligns perfectly with the Great Reset. In AP Environmental Sciences in high school, I had United Nations textbooks literally teaching many of these same doctrines. I think that was 10 years ago, 8 to 10 years ago. Learning this stuff in a textbook in high school. And now it's getting public. Now it's not even a conspiracy to know that they're trying to create a one world governing system. Another one of their 8 predictions, the World Economic Forum on their website says, is that US dominance is over. We will have a handful of global powers. They hate the US. They hate America because there's so much freedom for the individual. Obviously, we've been going downhill year after year now in America, and things are not looking good for our future. But the founding of America is unique amongst every other nation state. In God we trust. The Spirit of God, the providence of God, as George Washington wrote about in his writings time and time again, how it was God's providence that won the war, that built America. This has created that spirit for human flourishing to take place, for Judeo-Christian values to be implemented, solidified in the legal system, which we're seeing be deteriorated at a rapid rate. And actually, another prediction of the World Economic Forum is that the values that built the West will have been tested to breaking point. They don't like Judeo-Christian values. They don't like godliness. They don't believe in God. They don't believe in equality. They believe that those who are smarter, richer, more powerful, because there's no afterlife, this is it, that they need to hold on to that. That they automatically have authority because of their intelligence. That we don't look out for the weak. We get rid of the weak to improve our gene pool. These are the social Darwinistic and even just Darwinistic mindsets that you will develop when you believe in the theory of evolution. It is a mere theory. The case for intelligent design is far stronger than the case for randomized evolution through mutation and natural selection. We were created, we were placed here by a creator. Biblical prophecy is playing out. They hate America. They need to destroy America to create a North American Union. Mexico, US, Canada, North American Union. That's why they're having the open borders to flood the populations, what they did in Europe, flood the populations, preach tolerance, the one world religion, acceptance, tolerance, coexist, have all of this dilution of the populace to be able to take control because there's a voter bloc that comes in and they need things. They need healthcare, they need food. And when they get it for free, they keep voting for the same party and it creates this system of control, of totalitarian control. And they don't actually look after those people as they should. They're doing it for power. The church, people say, oh, well, the Crusades and people were so evil in the church in times past and, colonialism and these different things. The church has done far greater good than bad. The amount of missionaries who preach the gospel, yet also feed, build homes, build infrastructure for societies that don't have it, developing nations, bringing medical aid, and all these different things is driven by the love in the human heart who knows God, who knows the heart of God and wants to please God. They help others. They love their neighbor as themselves. The Judeo-Christian values bring forth true righteousness because it talks of the true God, Yahweh, who came in the form of man, who took on the form of man, Jesus Christ, who died, who rose again, and who's coming back. Jesus Christ is the God of the Bible, the Judeo-Christian values that founded the West, but they want to destroy this. They want to merge us with the AI system. They want to merge us with machines. You got Elon Musk developing the Neuralink software. You've got RFID chips that are implantable in Sweden. You go bing, you go into work. bing, you go into work. They're tracking you the entire time. They'll have biometric scanners. Noah Yuval Harari in his book talks about all of this nanotechnology, these different things that are going to advance human consciousness, where you can upload your consciousness literally to the cloud so they can live forever, they believe. Little do they know what they're installing, what they're creating. Little do they know they are literally serving Satan's plan for the Antichrist to reign before Jesus Christ returns. And we're living in that era. It's happening right now. That's why Trump was so popular in the elections. He's saying nationalism, not globalism, will be our credo. He was coming against this plan. He was coming against this one world governing system that they're trying to create. That's why, although he's not perfect, many believers, many Christians supported him because he was standing for specific rights according to Judeo-Christian values. There is a segment of the population who is against this, but there's a large segment, which is why they produce these books, that is believing this, that believing they're advancing their technology, that they're going to become superhuman, that they want to merge with machines, that they want to have these, cyborg technologies and manipulate the genetics of their child and create their next human in a petri dish. And, that childbirth will be seen as medieval, all the pain and stuff. You can just produce your child literally, genetically, scientifically, and select all their traits. And people are fascinated by this. People literally believe that humans are a cancer to the earth and that Mother Gaia, Mother Nature, and the earth is meant to be worshipped. And we need to destroy the population, depopulate the earth to improve nature on the earth. These people are selling this lie only so they can get more power. They can consolidate more power. So they can have the dictatorial means to install the world that they want to create. Through technology. It'll be a technocracy. That's what the Great Reset is, a technocracy run by technocrats who know the technology, who know the AI that makes the world function, and they're preparing you for it. And honestly, why this is so important for the church to understand is because people like me, when I'm seeing this plan happen geopolitically, whoa, there's a one world government being set up. These people are very atheistic, many New Age as well. The United Nations writers, Pierre de Tardine, I believe his name is, talking about the true man, the natural man, and the different writings that are very New Agey, the one world religion, the New Age tolerance, things like that. When I was studying that, I was seeing, why is there such this anti-Bible? Why is there such this anti-Christian force in all of this? And I thought Christianity was merely a myth and a fairy tale until I started realizing, whoa, the book of Revelation, this biblical prophecy is literally playing out right before our eyes. No other book is prophesying of this 2,000 years prior. Something biblical is happening on the earth. It increased my credibility in the Bible because the Bible tells us you got to read this Bible. You got to get into eschatology, end times theology, get into the words of Christ, what he spoke about. This is what is developing on the earth, and the church needs to be aware, because when they start putting you in a social media censorship right now, which is where your account gets blocked. Imagine when you have a digital ID, a social credit score, your banking and your currency is attached to it. And if you're an enemy of the state and you preach the Bible or you are coming against their system, they merely lock you out. You die of starvation, you die of different aspects. They don't necessarily need to kill you immediately, rather than just slowly get you out. You say one thing wrong, boom, social credit score goes down. You can no longer do this. You can no longer do that. They will maintain control. And it even talks about in the World Economic Forum, their point number one, prediction number one, every move is tracked, and outside the city live swaths of discontents, the ultimate depiction of a society split in two. Literally, every move is tracked. Outside the city lives swaths of discontents. Swath of discontents who are prepared to go through the tribulation when the Antichrist reigns. Swath of discontents who've got their homesteads, who know how to do basic things and fix up their house, fix up their car, fix up the basic skills that are no longer in the person who's living in the smart city attached to all the technology, yet they borrow everything and own nothing. The person who believes in private property, the person who lives by the Bible and the Word of God and Judeo-Christian values, the person who doesn't want to go along with this system, there's swaths of discontents living out in the wilderness. But Jesus said we got to prepare for tribulation. All who desire to live godly will suffer persecution. In Canada, it's already hate speech to preach the Bible. It's already hate speech to talk about other people's lifestyles when you believe that that's not their true purpose or calling. It's hate speech to mispronoun somebody on a delusion that they're believing about their identity, which is actually very sad. Gender dysphoria is a very real issue that people have mentally, and they need to be treated properly so they can actually live in fullness. Not at age 14 getting their genitals removed and fully changing their entire life, them spiraling into depression after when they realize, why did I do this? 14. It's even being given to children who come home one day thinking that there's some other gender. It's extremely evil. These children can't even decide what they want to do with their life. Yet they're being corralled into this ideology of transgenderism. Corralled, which has very actually troubling roots of the founders of it. And the big documentary that's going out, What is a Woman, is exposing a lot of this. It's becoming a lot more real to people how popular this is. But the Great Reset is coming. Many people believe in it. Many people want it to come. But Jesus Christ told us in His Word, this will come and then I return. We are seeing biblical prophecy manifest before our eyes. When the one world system is created, when the Antichrist reigns, you better be prepared. You better cling to Christ because He's coming back for all who are righteous, all who are in Him. I really hope that you research some of this stuff. Get Homo Deus by Noah Harari if you're interested in the whole transhumanism AI stuff. COVID-19, The Great Reset by Klaus Schwab. You can get that book. You can go on the World Economic Forum and watch their videos on this stuff, literally. And watch others. Bill Gates supports Yuval Harari, speaks very highly of him, loves his books. Bill Gates, eugenics, very connected. All very connected. They have a different fundamental view of reality, of God. They believe they can become God. It's the same lie in the Garden of Eden. It's the same lie Satan is using to install his system on the earth. Get educated, get close to the Lord, grow in your knowledge and understanding of the Word, and stay blessed.